Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Today we're focusing on the fraudsters that try to take your money as we learn about the top consumer scams in Vermont over the past year. The best way to avoid getting ripped off is to educate yourself. And if you do have questions or are concerned you've been scammed, contact the Vermont Attorney General's Consumer Assistance Program. So we are going straight to the source. Our first guest is Vermont Attorney General TJ Donovan. TJ, good afternoon, and thank you so much for being with us.
Good afternoon, Fran. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So what are the most common scams reported to the Consumer Assistance Program in this past year?
Fran, here is our top 10 scams for 2020. Number one, the Social Security number phishing scam. Number two, free money. Number three, I think one that frankly may grow is the Amazon and package delivery scam. Four, computer tech support scam. Five, phony relationships, the so-called grandparent scam. Six, debt collection. Seven, online classified listings. Eight, extortion emails. Nine, the grandchild imposter, and 10, the bank and the financial institutional phishing scam. So those are our top 10 in 2020. And I think probably all Vermonters may have received a call on some of these.
I think probably so. And they say there are at least as many in Vermont, as many complaints, but there might even be more during this horrible past year in COVID. So tell us a little bit about the Social Security number phishing. There were over 1,100 complaints. That's over 3 a day. And of course, there are many more people that get calls that don't call your office. Tell us about that
Absolutely.
scam.
Yeah, the Social Security phishing scam works like this. You receive a phone call, usually a robocall, stating that there's been a criminal or fraudulent activity involving your Social Security number. The scammer may also claim to be a government agency or law enforcement threatening to arrest or arrest you or impose a serious consequence and asking for your Social Security number. You know, when you think about that, and I think what underlies all these scams is really that fear and that threat that something bad has happened. Give us your information or you're going to be in trouble. And it's really coercive and dangerous.
And this is not a new scam. It topped your Consumer Assistance Program scam list in 2019 as well. So as consumers, what can we do to prevent being defrauded by this Social Security number scam in particular?
Well, always be wary when responding to an unsolicited call and never provide personal information to unknown callers, especially over the phone. I mean, that is rule one here. Don't give out your personal information to somebody you don't know who cold called you essentially. And and here's the big thing about government. If Social Security or any other government agency wanted to contact you, they would not call you to ask for your personal information, especially your Social Security number over the phone. These agencies, think about the IRS, think about Social Security, they will mail you a letter and they would never threaten you for information or demand payment over the phone. So any government agency that's going to contact you is not going to contact you over the phone and threaten you and demand payment.
Great to know. So let's go back to the pie chart of the top 10 scams in Vermont during 2020. Talk about the free money scam that was reported by 683 Vermonters.
Yeah, I mean, it is exactly as it sounds. You receive a phone call, email, or mailing that claims you've won money or a prize. But here's the catch. You have to pay money up front for so-called taxes or fees before you can collect the money or the prize. Sometimes the outreach includes realistic-looking fake check. I have seen those. They look real. The check bounces and no winnings are ever dispersed. Oftentimes, scammers claim to be publisher or clearinghouse. We've all seen those commercials. Sometimes it also claims to be a government grant or stimulus money. We dealt with the stimulus money scam early on when that money first was being dispersed. So usually here's the bottom line, Fran. It's something that I think we've all been taught since we were kids. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. We all know there's no such thing as free money.
Exactly. And there's been a lot of publicity around the number 3 scam in Vermont. It involves Amazon and package deliveries. So how are consumers targeted here?
Yeah, well, look, as we all know, we're all stuck at home, and I'm sure we're having many deliveries to our homes. Certainly we are at my house. But how this works is this: consumers will get an automated phone call or email claiming that your credit card has been charged by Amazon or that you have an outstanding balance on your account. And the scammer will instruct people to call them to get a refund or resolve the charge, at which point, again, they request your card number and attempt to gain remote access to your computer. You may also receive a text message or email claiming that you have a package, but they need to verify your information. Here's what people need to remember. Amazon will not call you unless you, the consumer, request that they do. If you have a legitimate concern about your Amazon account or other accounts, contact the company directly through a trusted contact, such as through their customer portal with your account. If you get these calls, hang up the phone, don't call back. You should not allow remote access to your computer to unknown parties. That's a big thing, Fran, that's happening, which is really scary when you think about it. Remote access to your computer. So again, if you're concerned about charges made to your credit card, contact the credit card company directly. Don't give your information over the phone to an unknown person.
Right. And, I get a lot of these phone calls, but it's also email and text. And what are all those other modes of communication that are used by scammers?
Yeah, Fran, it's really the new normal where you're seeing all modes of communication are now open and being used by scammers. Phone, email are obviously the most common, and other modes such as text and online phishing. They'll also use social media platforms to send direct messages, and it's depressing to say that because it feels like we're all under constant attack. But I think, again, educating yourself, being aware, not being ashamed that this is happening to you because it happens to everybody, and just knowing these good tips to protect yourself is probably the best defense.
So again, what are some of the best tip-offs to spot a suspicious call or email?
Well, again, we urge Vermonters to take it slow. Again, scammers will pressure you to act fast, demanding personal information and payment while threatening extreme consequences if you don't comply. Don't let people pressure you. And think about this: if you don't know somebody on the other end of the phone and they're pressuring you, it's going to be a scam. So slow down. Be confident in that you've done nothing wrong. Be confident in yourself. Hang up the phone. Take notes about the interaction and talk to somebody who you know and trust about what just happened. Right. And finally, if you don't have that trusted person, call us at the Consumer Assistance Program at 802-649-2424.
Right. And are there certain people targeted for scams more than others?
I think we're all vulnerable, Fran, to be a victim of a scam, and criminals have become more convincing and deceptive. But there are certain scams that target seniors, like the imposter grandparent scam or Social Security phishing scam. So, when you think about this time where we're all working and living remote and not seeing our friends and our family, and if perhaps you're living alone, you can think about that, where somebody is going to prey on somebody's loneliness and call somebody who's living alone. So everybody should be aware, but let's take care of our parents and our grandparents and our seniors.
Attorney General T.J. Donovan, thank you so much for being with us and for helping us understand some of these top consumer scams in Vermont and how to avoid being ripped off. In the time we're remaining, we want to bring in Lisa Jensen. Lisa is the Assistant Director of the Attorney General's Consumer Assistance Program at the University of Vermont. Thank you so much for being with us, Lisa.
Oh, thanks for having me, Fran. Nice to see you.
So you're an educator and you educate consumers. You also educate UVM students in the Consumer Assistance Program. What and how are students learning?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the Consumer Assistance Program is a partnership between the University of Vermont within the CDAE department. So the service learning class is called Consumer Law in Action, and students are in the office helping Vermonters, answering that hotline when the call comes in for somebody that just got that call about the Social Security phishing scam, and they want to confirm, is this true or not true? So we're on the other end of the line, listening to Vermonters, reassuring them that it is a scam. So students have the opportunity through service learning to help Vermonters to learn about state government and all the community resources we have in Vermont, understand consumer rights, help mediate complaints, and build their professional skills.
A great program. And so what is the advice that they give people to avoid being scammed?
Well, the first thing we do is we listen, because most of the time, Vermonters are upset because, as TJ mentioned, they get this threatening phone call. So we listen, we reassure them, and we explain, as TJ did, what the scam is about, and how to protect themselves. And if by any chance somebody has given any personal information or has had a loss, we will help them step by step.
Great. So that's the whole slow, how to not get scammed, log the call, make one call, find out who cares. So, and if someone is a victim of a scam, what should they do?
If they are a victim, they should call us immediately. Time is very, very important. The scam, the criminals, I'll say, they want to access your money. And that can happen through a Western Union. It can happen through a withdrawal from your bank. It can happen through a gift card. So the sooner somebody calls our office, there might be a, there might be a chance that we could help them recover some of that money.
Terrific. So if you have a call so you can have good reports and good numbers about this and maybe do something about it. But certainly if you think you are scammed, definitely be in touch right away.
Yes. Yes, and if Vermonters call our office and they report the scam online, as you said, we are then aware of the scams that are happening in Vermont, and we can provide more education.
Okay, Lisa, thank you so much for your work with the Consumer Assistance Program. We also want to thank TJ Donovan for joining us this morning. Very, very busy guy, but who cares a lot about this and scams going on. And these are the people that are going to help you out and take care of you if you think you are being scammed. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you, Fran.
Thank you, Fran.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.